everybody, welcome to the roundup, and we're back. It's been, I don't know, it's been about 2 months or something, but we're back, mate. We're back with the roundup.
We're no back, mate. You're back. I'm no back. I'm just back full Monty for one night only, mate. I'm back as a special guest.
I don't know why you keep saying this stuff, mate. You're even saying it to me, but I'm just going to ignore you now. And I give a shout out to our sponsor, Stuart Ventilation Services, an independent stockist and distributor of heating, ventilation and air conditioning equipment. Check them out at www.stuartvent.com. So, Dak.
The only reason I'm saying that is because you know you need to keep the Dak name in it, mate, because I'm the one pulling in the punters, my man.
Aye. It'd be nice if you'd fucking turn up, then we could pull in some more.
Mate, it's good to see you doing a bit of fitness, man. A few press-ups, man, with that balding Arthur, mate.
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, that was 100 press-ups I did.
Yo, mate, your shooters are massive, mate. Your shooters are nearly as big as my van.
I've got that High Rocks hang in 2 weeks.
Oh, mate. Listen, this will probably be the last podcast you'll ever see, because once that Darvel does that High Rocks, mate, we'll see him again.
Mate, honestly, I did like a 3/4 High Rocks thing last week and the other day in the gym. And mate, I just wanted to lie in the ground. It was horrible. It's horrible, but
listen, never mind High Rocks, mate. What's happening in the west of Scotland, man? I've missed the west of Scotland chat.
The Friday night game in the Strathclyde Demolition Cup final, Renfrew won, Whitletts won, Renfrew won 5-3 in penalties. We'll do a wee quick bit on that. I went to it. It wasn't very good. It was, I said to you off camera, neither team was bad. It was just, wasn't much happened in the game. Renfrew were a better team first 20 minutes. Whitletts kind of came back in. It was pretty even. I'd say up until maybe the hour, maybe just before that, Whitletts started to come right back into it. Were on tap, hit the post, hit the bar, I think. And then they get a boy sent off, poor dive, and it was just, it killed them after that. They kind of sat in, soaked up the pressure after that, and then went away to penalties. Obviously a lottery. I feel for the boy that missed, because the rest of the penalties were really good standard, to be fair.
You know what it's like, mate? Sometimes you get to a cup final and there's so much at stake, especially with that kind of added pressure that you get an opportunity to try and get yourself into the Scottish Cup. But listen, mate, they're not all classics, but is Renfrew caring? I don't think so, mate. For the celebrations that I've seen, mate, in your vlog, I think that they've had a right good celebration and they've won a trophy. Sounds unfortunate that Whitletts have went down to 10 men. I watched on the vlog Jimmy alluding to it as well, saying that it's probably killed Whitletts at a point as well. So that'll be a tough one to take for Popey and that down there, do you know what I mean? What was great to see was a big crowd.
The crowd was tremendous, man. Honestly, tremendous.
Great to see for the cup final. Obviously, it's not been a classic early 90 minutes, but penalties, mate, it's always a good watch in it. So it's probably finished on a high. Unfortunately, it's a horrible way to lose a cup finals through a penalty shooting, and it's unfortunate for that individual as well, because they'll be thinking about that all weekend and probably even for longer. Do you know what I mean? What ifs and buts and maybes, but great achievement for Renfrew. They've had a great start to the season. They're sitting top of the league. They've got a trophy in the bag. They've got the opportunity to go and try and get into the Scottish Cup. And for that one, it's a disappointment for Whitletts, because that's been a great distraction, that competition for them. And if they'd won that, could have just carried that bit of confidence onto league form. But they should hold their heads held high, because got to the final, they've been down to 10 men. They've pushed Renfrew all the way, and unfortunately they've lost in the lottery. It was penalties, mate.
Well, that was the first cup final. I'm sure I spoke to Popey before it. I'm sure he said something like 60 years or something. That was their first cup final, and Renfrew's first trophy that they've won since they won a Scottish in the early 2000s as well, which Jimmy Quigley was a part of.
Aye, mate, it's a great achievement, because there's good teams. Listen, there's not many teams in that competition, but there is some good teams and some good clubs in that competition. So to win it, listen, doesn't take anything away from it. To win a trophy at your club and for be a manager or a player, you win something. And I tell you what, it's probably Popey's not lost many finals as a player, man. So he's probably not used to that feeling as much, because he had such success as a player. But well done to Jimmy, well done to Renfrew and the players, man. What an evening for them, and they keep going with the form in the league then could be a
Big great year.
top season for them, aye.
Right, we'll move on to the Premier League. Arthurlie 3, Darvel 2, Talbot 2, Petershill 0, Beath 1, Pollock 0, Clydebank 2, Cambuslang 0, Carluke 0, Largs 1, Meda 2, Troon 1, Colwynn 2, Hurlford 2. Start with yourselves, Dak. Second against third at the time. It's always going to be nip and tuck. How did the game go?
Aye, it was. We started really well, PG. Owen starting goals for Beef pulled off an absolute worldie for 40. 2 good saves in quick succession, probably 2-3 good saves. But Beef, they always looked a threat going the other way, you know what I mean? We Josh Fowler up front, sharp as attack, do you know what I mean? And they've got that quality in midfield and that as well. So they always looked as if they were a threat going the other way. But they came into it, we Josh had a chance, was the warning signs were there, and then he's got his goal, took it really well, fair play to him on his left side. And then I'd say we came back into it again. Second half we started, we played well for the first maybe 15, 20 minutes, and to be honest, second half it's kind of been a lot of wee half chances, and that wasn't really anything pure clear cut. They defended really well. Don't think Josh has had a save to make in the second half. But it was a tight affair. Fair play to Beav, and they defended really well. They limited us to a lot of chances towards the end of the game. We threw a couple of strikers on as well, and just wasn't to be. It was disappointing, mate, because I thought early piece we actually played well, and I see like their goalies maybe getting man of the match, but that's probably for the few saves he had to make in the first half. But it's quite an peachy game. But listen, Beef took their chance and they had something to hold on to, and they defended really well, and credit needs to go to them, mate. They're a good side, mate. They work hard for each other, so we were just disappointed.
That's then moved into top spot. A point clear of Darvel with a game. Darvel got a game in hand.
Can't take that away from me. It's
because
frustrating that to be sitting top of the league 14, 15 games into the season is brilliant for them. They've got a good squad, but see, for us, mate, it's disappointing, right, as we say, but the gaffer's no longer in the job. He's only been a couple of months. He's trying to suss it all out, see what the boys have got that are already at the club, and give people an opportunity to see what's there, and he's got his own ideas and stuff where he's wanting to take it and that. So it's a process, you know what I mean? But some amount of work getting done behind the scenes at Port with the management, the manager and that. So I think that although it's disappointing, mate, it doesn't take away from the fact is that there's a lot of work getting done and there's a lot of things getting put into place, hopefully for next season and that as well. But the boys there are great boys, but we just came up short on Saturday, mate, which is hard one to take.
What happens? Moving on to Darvel. Arthurlie beating them 3-2. Darvel 2-0 up at half time. I've not seen any of the game, but apparently, for what I heard, Darvel were fantastic the first half. Then Arthurlie came out, 3 goals second half, get a win. It's a huge win, particularly after Darvel's heroics last week. Beating Aberdeen, I mean, it seemed like it was unimaginable. And obviously I was doing it the game and they deserved. Aberdeen were, I'd say, were slightly better than them. But that's a huge credit to Darvel that the third or fourth biggest club in the country were only slightly better than you, and you managed to beat them. Pretty much matched them. I thought it was amazing. But Arthurlie, it's a great result for Palmer and the team, and that's a huge 3 points for them. But in terms of the league, that's probably a good win for Arthurlie for everybody else, because Darvel were looking like they were starting to edge away a wee touch, even though Beath are not too far back. I think it's good for the league that Darvel have dropped points, and it keeps it nice and tight at the top, and it keeps it interesting.
Yeah, I've got to. The Aberdeen result's a great result, but I think that they've had enough exposure now. But listen, you can't get enough of what they've done. Do you know what I mean? It's been unbelievable. It's been great for the league and the setup as well, because it's gave a lot of extra eyes, and that exposure's there has been amazing on Saturday's game. Darvel, I thought Darvel's went quite similar to what their team against Aberdeen, because that was one thing that I looked at. I thought, is Mick going to maybe change it up a wee bit? Is he maybe going to give other boys a start in that? And fair play, he said it himself. He took Arthurlie very seriously, and I do accounts, but that's a tough place to go to, Dunterley, and what Palmer's got is he's got a group of boys that they all fight hard for each other. They're a close bunch as well, and what character that shows to be 2-0 down. It's quite easy to roll there, and then it ends up becoming quite comfortable for Darvel, and they can, maybe that part's not the best. They pass you off the park, most teams, but maybe that surface doesn't allow that. But at the same time, then they go and so you see how many times you've seen them kicking on and getting 4 or 5, even 6. So for Arthurlie then to go and show the character, strength of character, the belief is a top result, man, an unbelievable result for them, because Darvel would be, confidence would have been through the roof, but for Arthurlie, man, what wonders that will do for them and the belief of them and going taking points. But we knew how difficult it is to go down there, and a top result for Arthurlie, and they deserve great credit, especially the way they've done it, coming for 2-0 down to actually go and win the game. It's impressive stuff for them.
Another mention to a team who are kind of doing that neck of the woods is Largs, down there on the table, beating Carluke 1-0. I know Carluke are in a really poor run of form now, and I seen Gint's interview, I think it was after the Peters Hill game, where he wasn't really hiding for it, said the players hadn't been doing well enough and stuff. I think that Carluke's title hopes have gone already. They had that tremendous start, and they're a good side. I think they'll still have an impact on certain teams at the top of the league. I think they're still good enough to go and beat them, but I think their title hopes have gone. But that's a great result for Arnie and Largs. Really, really solid 1-0 win for them.
Hey, we've been saying it for years, especially this year. Although we've took that break for it, that anybody's capable of beating anybody in this league. It's because there's so many good players and good management, and the teams are basically all organised to make it difficult for the opposition, and a brilliant result for them. Firstly, keeping a clean sheet and certainly getting the late goal and winning the game 1-0. It's a real confidence boost, especially with a couple of teams down there picking up points as well. It's always welcomed. Carluke with confidence would have been high, because they scored 5 against Kilwinning through the week, do you know what I mean? Won the game 5-2. But what a result for Largs. Absolutely different class for them. And listen, we've said it before, Arnie, do you know what I mean? He churns out good results, and he's always done a great job there with limited resources. Do you know what I mean?
Definitely, I think he has. You touched on the 5-2 win for Carluke against Kilwinning. Kilwinning, obviously, Gorms was relieved of his duties. I know it's been a really bad season for them. I still think he probably should have had a wee bit more time. I think that he's proven elsewhere that he is a good manager, and he's a young manager. I think that Keenum, I think it was like 5-6 months. I don't really think it is quite enough. I know it's not been good enough, which he would admit himself.
Yeah,
but they bounced
but
back.
they've been good at, and I agree. Do you know what I mean? I think he's a young manager, but Gomes has got experience here. Do you know what I mean? But you don't want to see anybody lose their job. Do you know what I mean? Especially people you know and you've got a lot of time for. Do you know what I mean? So it's disappointing. It's disappointing being a young coach and seeing that, because you had young coaches, a couple of young coaches in there with him as well. But unfortunately, I just think that they conceded a few goals, didn't they, against, what was it, Cumnock, Kilwinning, then Darvel, Talbot scored a few down there. But see the thing for Whitletts, that their cup form's been outstanding.
I know.
They're starting the cups and that as well, and maybe that's just hindered them a wee bit, because they've not been able to get a consistent run going in the league and getting that momentum of league games and try to pick up points. It's been stop start, it's been a league game, then it's been 3 weeks of cups and stuff like that. So I think that's hindered them as well. But I definitely agree. I think you should have got a wee bit more time there as well, mate.
Well, you mentioned lost quite a lot of goals. Barron Peters Hill, who have quite considerably get the worst goal difference in the league. Kilwinning have played the least amount of games in the league and have the second worst defensive record, which maybe tells you, I mean, you're spot on with saying that. Moving on, Clyde Bank for me, a wee bit under the radar now. I think that they're in a right purple patch, 4 in the bounce in the league. They seem
7 in it, they've won, aye.
four in the bounce in the league and have won cup games and stuff. They're a real rich vein of form, and they're kind of flying under the radar. I heard some murmurs of people being unhappy with how often the team were doing. And I rate him really high. I think he's a cracking manager. It was far too early for that chat, but that's just showing he's starting to get players back. He's getting guys kind of nicky little scoring goals now. Big Jimmy Darrell always chipping in with goals for defence. Matt Niven the same in the back.
Yeah.
They've
Saying
got
the boy Alan Kelly's getting goals now, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, they've got a lot of quality in there, and that seems starting to build their way back up. I mean, they're 8 points off a B that top the league with 2 games in hand. I mean, that could put them right in touching distance. It's a great win for them. Cambuslang, I think that there's no really much chance of Cambuslang staying up for me. They're 6 points off a safety already, and the team's ahead of them with games in hand, barring Peters Hill. But again, huge win for Clyde Bank.
Aye, they're doing really well, and I think any talk. I think that's what sometimes clubs need to think about. You're only it's a good run of form's not always a million miles away with sometimes, you know what I mean? You can lose games of football, do you know what I mean? But it's the character of players, and they've bounced back really well, and it's testament to their character as a management team as well. They've rolled their sleeves up, and now they're getting the benefit of that. Either they're a really good run of form, and they're climbing up the league, and confidence is high there. So they've done it really well. But Cambuslang, feel sorry for them. I think they went down to Talbot last week or the week before, and they've only had 11 players and not even had a sub, you know what I mean? So it's all hands on deck for Paul and Billy, but they're still making teams really have to work for it, do you know what I mean? It's not as if it's
They're not getting battled off them,
it's no easy, mate. So fairness to them, they're still get the team organised and hard to break down, and so hopefully they'll be picking up points along your way.
Well, on that, talking about them playing Talbot last week, Talbot beating Peters Hill 2-0, which is a result you'd expect. I spoke about defensive record, I say, winning. Look at Darvel. For me, Darvel, their goal scoring's borderline stupid, the amount of goals they score. But defensively, I don't think they've been good enough in the league. 21 goals they've lost in 14 games, and I'm sure Mick would be unhappy with that. It's probably a byproduct of how they play. They like to play a lot of football, and some of the parks maybe don't suit the way they play and whatever, and it might kind of hinder them. But Talbot, they've conceded 11 goals. By far the best defensive record. On our clean sheet yesterday, they won their games in hand to go top of the league after it was looking kind of no so good for them maybe 5-6 weeks ago, and now they're just tick there, kind of quiet under the radar for the Talbot, and now they've got themselves right back in the hunt.
Yeah, I think Talbot for years have always prided themselves on being strong defensively. Do you know what I mean? Tucker's teams, you always need to work hard to get in and break them down and get a goal and stuff like that. They've got a top goalkeeper, and they're very organised defensively, and they work hard for each other. They've done really well. It was only, I'd say, he was already writing them off, and I think that we kept saying never write the Talbot off. You know what I mean? Because they're a big club and they know how to win games of football. So for them to turn it round really well, but as I said, that this league anybody can beat anybody. So nobody's fully out it yet in that top group, because teams all drop points and they've all still to play each other. So there's going to be plenty of more twists and turns. Probably no the best that Talbot have played on Saturday, but again, a 2-0 victory, and they just keep kicking on, and they've got the games in hand, so the opportunity's there for them, but they've done really, really well.
Moving on to the first division, Blantyre 2, the Bens 2, Cumbernauld 0, Glencairn 2, Drum 4, Bonnyton 0, Gartcairn 2, Kilbirnie 3, Rossvale 1, the Borough 2, the Rock 3, Nielsen 1. I suppose the blockbuster game was Gartcairn and Kilbirnie. It's a massive, massive win for Kilbirnie. They were starting to drop away a wee touch for it, and I think if Gartcairn had won, then they would have been 10 points clear, and now it's only 4 points clear. Scoring with the last kick of the ball as well. Kilbirnie, a great free kick to win the game. That's a huge 3 points for Sean and his team. Mick will be quite disappointed that they've not been able to at least hold on for a point and put themselves top of the table. But it's a massive win for Kilbirnie.
Big win away from home up at Gartcairn, do you know what I mean? On the Astros. No easy, do you know what I mean? So, aye, to win it last minute when it looks as if they were going to have a share of the spoils, and it's a great free kick for Scully. He's probably one of the best at the level, and probably one of the best about for the deed ball situations, and he's stepped up with that bit of quality to get the 3 points, and that's massive, man. The dressing room will be bouncing after the game. It's against one of your rivals if you want to be up there for challenging for the league, and an away day, and the fans are delighted and that, so it's a real feel good factor. Do you know what I mean? Because Gartcairn have been going really well. But as I say all the time, it's plenty more twists and turns. Gartcairn can't let it get to them too much. They've got a lot of good quality there. They've added some real good players and experienced players, so they'll just be looking to bounce back in the next one. But what a result for Kilbirnie, and it sounded a great game as well.
Drumchapel beating Bonneton 4-0. Bonneton have been, I know they've lost the last two, but we'd say that we thought they would pick up, and they have picked up, and they've got themselves, even though they've played a lot more than most people, they've got themselves in a position where they're really in a fighting chance of staying up this year. The Drum 4-0. Shame to see them losing to Elgin during the week there, 2-1. I think it's a tremendous job that they've done to get that far. The only non-licensed team to reach that far, and at one point they were only only 45 minutes to an hour away from possibly getting through into the next round.
Yeah.
Jal Victoria signed for them at the weekend, which I think is a game changer. I think that, I know he's not quite as young as he was, but in that first division, he could tear it up. Him and Temps playing, and I know they've got a lot of quality in there, but I think that's a top signing for them. And they're sitting just now 3 points off of St Cadoc's and Gartcairn, with 3 games in hand on Gartcairn and 2 games in hand on St Cadoc's. It's really looking like they could really push on if they keep the form they've got going.
I think that the good thing for the Drum and that Scottish Cup run they've went on has been fantastic for them and for their community, for the club, and building the profile of the club. And I think as well that's how they're able to attract a player like Zhao now, you know what I mean? Because their name's out there and everybody's fully aware of the quality they've got. When, as you say, they've got the likes of Templeton and Geehan for Dumbarton and that, so their names getting bandied about a lot, and I's a great acquisition, you know what I mean? But 4-0, great result. They've got great quality, and I totally agree with what you say. The quality they've got in forward areas, if they all click at the one time, then it's going to be difficult for teams to keep them quiet. So the Drum are a force in that league, and they're going to keep pushing on. And I think knowing Hopi and Jaibi as well, they'll always look to add to make their team stronger. So they're definitely going to be one of the teams worth for watching. But it was good of them to bounce back after the disappointing. That takes out you and all that jaunt up to Elgin through the week, man, and a Tuesday. I felt terrible for them that
I know.
actually go to that, because half the supporters probably couldn't have to go up, the players getting up, having to take half days off work, travelling home, not getting home to probably about 2 in the morning or something, do you know what I mean? So
I bumped into Deasy, he stays not far from me, and I bumped into him.
You still get that tash and that goatee?
Does, mate, it's
what's happening with that, Deasy?
I don't know what it's doing, but I never bothered raising it with him. And I was talking to him, I think it was a Sunday I'd seen him, and I was like, so you need to go back up on Tuesday? And he's like, aye. And you could just see it was like, we need to go up to Elgin on a Tuesday night. And it's, I suppose, but ultimately, see, if you want to do well in these competitions, or you want to progress up the leagues, then you're going to have to do that. And it's
you don't mind getting up. You don't mind getting up for the replay, mate. If it went when it used to be the replays and that, but a Tuesday for your game, and
it's no great, is it?
Nah, it's no good for the fans either, mate. I was really gutted for the full club with that one. But Deasy and the boys, Deasy, get that tash and that off me.
Right, moving on.
Aren't too tight, he's tight, look like you.
I know, mate. I've got a proper tash body before. Moving on to a team who have really, really fought back in the last 4 or 5 weeks. Glencairn beating Cumbernauld 2-0. That's them won 4 in the bounce, picking up 13 points at the last 15. I thought they were gone, but looking at the league table, I mean, they won their game. They're only 3 points half of the promotion spot now. We played extra games, but the form they're in, and with the way that teams can drop points in that league, I don't know why you're looking at me like that.
Because anytime you have ever wrote a team off, mate,
They
they
fly back.
always hang with you, mate. So I don't know why you're acting surprised, mate.
I don't
See
know.
if you know the Glencairn. See if you know, like, if you do your homework, mate, and your research, mate, and you know what players Glencairn have got, they've got good players there, mate.
Don't act smug because you write nobody up ever.
I don't write anybody up.
It's because you're fucking nonsense.
It's because I know the players, PG. Players.
Fish, man.
They've got wee Ryan McManus banging in the goals, mate.
Never heard him.
Mate, I fucking told him everything he knows. You get two against his old club through the week, and then he scored another 2 on Saturday, mate.
No, mate.
Because you learnt that from me and Paul Maxwell.
Aye, I know, that's what it is. Maybe Max, because I don't remember you scoring a lot of goals when you played.
Kept them out, my boy.
But that's a great win for them against Cumbernauld, and it's an important 3 points to keep them pushing up.
Good run of form, mate. They've got a good mix of youth and experience there, and they've hit form at the right time. They're getting themselves right back in the mix, and they've not really got any other distractions apart from league duty, so they can focus on that fully, mate. And when you've got players and you know that they've got good players, then you know that they're not going to be far away. I think you'd have done your homework by the time you've been away, mate. No,
it's amazing when you get one right.
See what happens when I'm back. I'm the fucking Unibond here, mate. I keep it together.
You're fucking idiot. Right, so another team that are making a right good charge who dropped points at the weekend, but probably not the worst points to drop against Blantyre away from home is Benburb. They have won, again, they're 13 out of the last 15, like Glencairn as well, but they've got the bonus of having played less games than most teams. If they win their games, for talk's sake, they win their games against Kilbirnie, right? They've got 2 games in hand against Kilbirnie. Then Ben's move into 29 points, which puts them into 3rd place. They've put themselves in a right good chance as well, because it was a really shoddy start, and we spoke about it before, the cup games, maybe the Scottish Cup maybe didn't help them, even though it's great to be in it. It probably didn't help them at the start of the season. It'd
be disappointing for the Bens being 2-0 up and all. They were 2-0 up and it's ended up 2 each. I think it was a 90th minute equaliser for Blantyre. But on the other side of things, Blantyre under Gibby's never said die attitude. He's got good players there and that shows great character for them, and that'll feel a lot bigger than a point that they've got. But I think that the Bens will be disappointed. They've got good players as well there, and I think that I still don't think they'll be a million miles away the Bens as well. Do you know what I mean? I think that they've got good players, and they'll probably add a couple more as well. But it's difficult league, man. Honestly, very difficult.
I'm looking at the form the new, and you're starting to. Obviously, we've spoken the Premier League's probably a bit tighter than this. We spoke about how mental this first division is. You're starting to see a split now. You're starting to see teams winning 4 and 5 games on the bounce, and teams losing kind of 4 and 5 games in the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
The Borough, who have been a bit up and down as well, getting a good win against Vale, 2-1 at the weekend. Vale, it's one I'm happy to put my neck on the line and say that they're gone. They're not going to stay up for me. They've played the second most games in the league, and they're 9 points.
Who's that? Roseville Ashfield.
Roseville Ashfield, I know. That's how they're doing poor, because they're starting to take all your players.
No, it's not. That's how they're getting. That's how they're picking up, my boy. No, listen, in all fairness, Roseville have been doing well. During the break that we've had, they've been doing well, but that's a good result for Johnston Borough. And I seen somewhere, I think that was the anniversary of Jamie having 5 years in charge. 5 years in charge at the club, and he's been a really good manager for the Borough, and it's good for them to mark that day with a win for him. But 5 years at any club, not I mean, it's hard enough being a manager for a season, half a season now, getting that amount of time. So to be at a club for 5 years shows great loyalty, mate, as well.
He's done a tremendous job, because when he took care, they were
They were in bottom division, weren't they?
And they really weren't a great side at all. And he's done with kind of limited resources. He's done a really good job.
Yeah.
Moving on to your former club, the Rock, 1-0 down at the weekend, come back with a 3-1 win.
I'm buzzing for them.
They're keeping themselves in that kind of right on the periphery of the teams that have got a chance of making the top three and getting promoted. And I think it might be a wee bit too much for them, but they're keeping themselves there. They're keeping themselves within touching distance. And the Rock team, particularly under Davy's teams aren't exactly easy to beat. So you know that they're going to go and take points off of teams. And that was a big one yesterday, sorry. But Nielsen, they're on the flip side, 4 defeats in the bounce. Since we've been away, new kind of you had Chrissy Cameron, and it's just they've left the management side, and it's really not looking good for them now.
It's hard, mate, because it's Kev's went in as well. It's a big club, not I mean. Kev knows him well, Nielsen. But you'll get, if he gets the time and they've got good players there, that he'll be able to turn it round. Do you know what I mean? He'll still be feeling out. It'll be quite similar to the situation Portland now. Do you know what I mean? You're trying to feel out the players. You're trying to look at maybe different shapes and that as well to see what suits the boys better. You're trying to maybe get the boys in that you want. You can't quite get them the new, and our clubs are asking for silly money. You know what I mean? That's the problem for all managers now. Do you know what I mean? But buzzing for the Candy, buzzing for Davy, wee Ben Daly getting off the mark, wee McDonald getting a double. They were 1-0 down as well. I think they had a disappointing result through the week against Glencairn. So for them to bounce back, I'm really delighted for Davy. You know what I mean? I love that guy, and I love the Candy as well, mate. So brilliant for them, mate. Well done to them.
Nah, he's done a really good job there. I actually realised I missed the result when I was reading it out. Thornywood beating Shots 2-1.
That's a good result.
It's a great result. It's, like Fraser, who's been helping us in your absence for the vlogs, he's good mates with Ali Martin. So kind of Shots has kind of become his team, and we were talking about the game on Friday night when we were at Renfrew and Whitletts game, and he's like, "Oh, should Shots win?" And I was like, "They maybe should win, but Thornywood are a funny team. They can go and beat kind of anybody when they're on their day." And looking at the table with Shots, they've won 6, they've lost 6, they've scored 18, they've conceded 17. You can see that that's their issues, the inconsistencies. But they're still in the mix as well. There's so many teams actually looking at the table that you've got Whitletts and Rossvale obviously are quite a bit adrift. You've got Cumbernauld, 17 points, Thornywood, 18 points, Nielsen, 18 points, Shots, 18 points, Bonneton, 19 points. Granted, Shots have got 8 games in hand on Bonneton, so they will go ahead of them, but there's a lot of teams that are really in that fight, going to fight out that third relegation spot.
It's exactly what we looked when we spoke about the restructure, man. This season, do you know what I mean? It's exactly what we wanted. It's tight. There's no much between bottom and top teams. You know what I mean? It's much more competitive. So it's good, man. It makes it interesting. It means right up to the end of the season, there's going to be a lot to play for.
Aye, definitely. We'll move on to Division 3 because we've been at this for quite a while already. Division 2.
Oh, you keep looking at that watch. Is it new or something?
I know. It's, I don't know. No, it's doesn't matter. Right, Greenock 0, Craig Martin 0, Kilsyth 2, Ashfield 1, Mabel 0, Yoker 2, Muirkirk 2, Perthshire 2, Ants 1, Forth 1, Wishaw 0, Maryhill 1. Disappointing weekend for Ashfield and for Mabel after Renfrew not playing. It gives them a wee chance to keep themselves kind of right in the hunt. Ashfield would have only been a point off Renfrew if they'd got the win. Losing 2-1 to Kilsyth. Kilsyth are kind of picking up. They've not lost any in the last 6. But Mick will be disappointed that they didn't get a win there. Kilsyth.
I totally agree with what you're saying there, mate. The teams haven't capitalised on Renfrew playing the cup game on the Friday, and that makes it even sweeter for Renfrew. That has been a good weekend for them. Do you know what I mean? Because their closest rivals at this minute haven't picked up maximum points. So I totally agree on that. It's a disappointing one for both clubs.
Yoker beating Mabel, that's a great result for them. they've had a bit of a mixed bag this season as well, but that's a huge 3 points. And one I want to touch on, I was talking to Martin McKenna at the game on Friday night. So the Ants getting a draw with fourth. The Ants are 3 points off Renfrew. Renfrew got a couple of games in hand. The Ants haven't lost at home since October 2021 in a league game. They haven't lost a league game in the best part of a year and a half at home.
Unreal, mate.
That's scary good, particularly because the Ants never get any money. They're always scrapping for players. When they get a good player, teams take them off them. Danny and Ronnie have done a tremendous job. I think the fact that they're sitting second in the second division, they're punching so far above their weight. I think they've done a really impressive job.
Totally agree, mate. We've sang their praises, and that's an absolute frightening statistic. Do you know what I mean? And that should be highlighted, because for any club, that's really amazing work. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of work and effort and performances and training your heart out and all that. Do you know what I mean? Organisation all goes into that. So credit to them, and they're having a good season, the Ants. You know what I mean?
They are indeed. A great result for Greenock for me. They've had a really tough spell. Getting a draw with Renfrew last week when they had 10 men. Getting the draw with Craig Mark. Spoke to Nixon yesterday, and it was like he was saying they were two results that you're kind of, if you don't pick it up in the two games, it's not a massive surprise playing against two really good sides. But he's picked up 2 points. He's got two of the top teams out of the way. That's him done with them now in the league, and they can focus on teams about them. And I think it's a cracking couple of points they've picked up.
That's the thing, for what I've seen with the games that you maybe expect them to go and take something for it, they're no maybe taking the points out of the games, but games where they're playing against teams nearer the top of the division, they seem to be turning them air or picking up points. So it's just showing you that they've got enough quality at that club to go and match all the teams in the league, all the top teams at that.
Well, they brought in quite a few new signings recently as well, which Nixon was saying has made it's given a bit of shake up to the place. Move on to my old club now, Maryhill. We said that they would start to pick up points. They've won the last two. They've won 3 out of the last 5. They've kind of moved themselves out of that. They're moving themselves out of that relegation zone. That was a big 3 points for them. I know Wishaw got a man sent off, but that was a massive 3 points for me. Because it's like that's a hard place to go as well.
Aye, it's a lot of time for Martin that as well, and it's good to see him turning it round and they give him the time to do that. And it's like, as you say with Greenock, man, it's like it takes time for managers to get the players in that they want, and to get players to commit and stuff like that, and they'll add players as they go along, and they'll get stronger. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of teams. You know what I mean? They're adding the quality as the season goes on, and it makes the group better as well when you just get that wee jag and new players, a bit of new blood, a bit of freshness. And I know that Mark's added a couple of players as well. So brilliant result for them, and to keep a clean sheet at Wishaw and all. I mean, that's a good result.
Final result, Muirkirk 2-2 with Perthshire. Perthshire's they're not a good run of form. They'll possibly be disappointed with that, because that would have taken them into second place. Same with Craig Mark. If they had won, they'd have went ahead of the Ants as well. But Muirkirk, that's a really good result for them. They need the points now, because they're in a bit of a dogfight with that third spot, even though I think they should be all right. But that's an important point for them to pick up against a good side, a hard team to beat.
Yeah, no, it's it's a tough place to go to, but no, it's a share of the spoils. I don't think there's much else I could add to that one, my man.
Right, we'll move on to Division 3. Ardrossan 6, East Kilbride 3, Bellshill 1, Lesmahago 6, Irvine Vicks 2, Royal Albert 0, Lanark 3, Vale Leven 1, Lugar 2, Girvan 0, Newmains 1, Kello 1, Port Glasgow 3, Dorai 0, Saltcoats 1, Larkhall 2, Vale Clyde 9, Carluke 1. Start with Vale Clyde. And a wee shout out to Bruce, a friend of the show, who's not been keeping too well as a Vale Clyde man. Hope you're doing all right, mate.
Yes, Brucey boy.
But 9-1 against Carluke. Carluke, they're going to be gutted with that, but Vale Clyde, they after losing, we spoke about this as well, they've only lost 2 out of the last 16 games in the league.
Yeah.
And in that league, there's a lot of teams that are right up there. That's impressive to go and take 9 off anybody.
Aye, great result for them, scoring goals for fun. Listen, that's a perfect bit of medicine for Bruce. 9 goals for his
I
team
know.
and our 3 points. They're right up there. Do you know what I mean? They win their games in Holland. I think they go top of the league. I was looking at it earlier.
Yep. Aye.
Getting a shout out in the PG and DAC wee roundup show and all. So listen, everything seems to be going well on the football side of things, doing it Vale Clyde and they're building and the momentum's there, and that's the biggest thing in it. It's momentum. Do you know what I mean? You keep winning games of football, you get into that habit of winning. Then even when you're not playing well, you seem to win. But by all accounts, yesterday they were in top form, top gear, 9 goals, job done, tremendous.
The 2 teams that are up there with them, 3 teams up there fighting with them, all won as well. Ardrossan taking 6 off his Kilbride, 5-0 up at half time, which is quite impressive. Lanark, who are the most informed team in the league, 3-1 to Vale even. And then Irvine Vicks beating Royal Albert 2-0.
That's your 4 or 5, isn't it?
That's your 4 there, because I think Les Mahago got a good win, 6-1 against Bellshill, but they're 4 points back and played more than Irvine Vicks. Irvine Vicks are sitting on 39 points, played 16 games. Vale Clyde are 17 games with 40 points. Lanark are 18 games with 43 points. Ardrossan are 20 games with 44 points. So there's only 5 points separating the top 4.
I think that division's going to be the best title running. I think the way it's shaping up and the way it is, you've got Ardrossan scoring goals for fun. You get Vale Clyde on top form. You've got, it's honestly, Irvine Vicks have been brilliant all season. Do you know what I mean? And Lanark are doing really well under Simon. So I think that's going to be. I think that'll be the best title running to watch. I think that's going to go right to the wire.
I tend to agree with you. My beloved Port Glasgow winning 3-0. It's a cracking result for them. They're starting to turn the corner for me now. That's them. 12 points at the last 15 points at the last 18. They're starting to motor on a wee bit, and I've been doing and watched them a couple of times when we had a break. And do you know what? I was actually quite impressed when I thought they tried to play quite a bit of football.
Yeah.
And they're looking. Stevie's starting to get his kind of message across, and having big daft Pat back at them, Scott Patterson, at centre half, I think that was a really big signing for them. Because no harm to the 2 young boys they had playing there. You could see they were decent players, but there was a bit of naivety between the 2 of them, being, I think they're like late teens, early 20s, the 2 of them. So having somebody of Pat's experience in at centre half definitely makes a difference to them.
No, I think that they're doing really well, and I think that we've kept preaching that they need time, and it seems to be working out well for them now. And I think it's maybe a bit too late to get them back in the mix for getting close to winning the league. But what they can do is finish and finish the season as strong as possible. See what it takes them, keep the winning run going. And also they'll have a big say where the title goes, because they're not going to be easy for any team to play now. Their confidence is high, they're winning games, you know what I mean? They're getting that style of plays, getting the benefit of it. They're winning games of football. So it'll be worth a watch between now and the end of the season.
I think so. A massive result for New Mains against Kello. I know Kello kind of fell right out of the title race, but New Mains, that's a good result for them, a good 1 each draw. Again, we've spoke about it. They're probably drawn too many games. They'd like to turn they draws into wins, but they're giving themselves a chance of staying up. And they're only 4 points off of safety now, but the way they're going, they could have enough in them to maybe be able to stay safe. So that was a good result for Davies' team yesterday.
They're much more competitive. Know what I mean? The other years they've had some tough times. You know what I mean? So for them to be in games and taking points, and I don't know how the games went, but it's definitely great to see. As I know that there's a lot of good work getting done off the park as well there, but it's good to see that they're getting that bit of traction on the park as well.
Aye. Saltcoat's another one where they're not picking up many points at all, but they're not getting leathered off them anywhere. Losing 2-1 to Larkhall. Larkhall are a decent side who do score quite a lot of goals. So again, they've not come away with any points, but it shows improvement that they're losing 2-1 and they're being competitive in games like that.
Definitely, mate. They're definitely got much more competitive.
Move on to Division 4. BSC 1, 3, 5, Campbelltown 1, Rossvale Academy 4, Easterhouse 1, St Peters 6, Glenville 0, Harmony Row 0, the Thorn 1, Kilsyth 1, West Park 7, Eglinton 1. Well, that's it. The perfect record going for Kilsyth. 15 games in a bouncy one. I think they're probably the last senior team in Britain to have a 100% record. Unbelievable. It's just a tremendous run for them to go 15 games on a spin. Dropping points to the Thorn, I think we spoke about it before we finished up. The Thorn are a team who are starting to pick up now. They're kind of finding their feet at a level a bit, so
They're
they will
home and
start to.
all. They're back. They're home, aren't they? They're at their home
Yeah, it was
park now.
great to see that. They'll start picking up points against the top teams, but well done to Bailey in his team. 15 games on the bounce, winning's just an incredible record.
Amazing, mate. Amazing. I bumped into Bailey. He was up watching We Da Friendly and he was there.
Right.
It's good to talk to him, mate. Not me asking him what channels he watched.
What lotion he's using and all that.
No, listen, that was me asking him for tips on coaching and management since he's got that winning formula, mate. But they're still undefeated, aren't they? Do you know what I mean? Still sitting in a really good position and all that. So then still got to take your hat off to him, you know what I mean? But well done to Thorn, especially getting their park up and running and that as well. That'll make some difference somewhere to call home and build your home park up, you know what I mean, and start getting used to that. So it's brilliant to see.
It's important financially for teams like the Thorn as well. We have that where now they're not having to pay somebody else to use their facilities. They've got their local community being able to come to their games in their local area, which is really important for them financially.
He's the young team, a place to aspire to go and play, maybe if they can't
Exactly,
make the grade and that as well. Do you know what I mean? And
they've got a really good academy behind them as well, so it's really important for them.
They'll add to that infrastructure down there as the years go on and all, which is going to make it a much better place as well. So it's brilliant to see, mate.
Your boy club team, the boyhood club team.
Aye, my boyhood club.
Aye, 7-1. And they're right back in the hunt. I mean, they didn't really drop out yet, but when Kilsyth kept winning, it was looking like it was going to be hard to stop them. They're only 7 points back with 2 games in hand, and the way that West Park are going, I wouldn't be surprised if they won the 2 games in hand. That's 13 out of 14 they've won. A really, really impressive form. Defensively, they're really sound as well, only conceding 12 goals.
But Bryson, mate.
They're just a good side, to be fair.
See, the thing is, mate, they went and signed Eddie Ferns and off of Peters Hill, man. And Eddie, I know, is getting towards probably the tail end of his career, do you know what I mean? But there's no doubt.
Experience, but isn't it?
There's no doubt in his ability and all, but PG, you know what I mean? He's still a very good football player. He can go by players. He's been there, he's done it, can score goals, he's got assists in him and that as well. So getting players like that in that know the level and get that wee bit of quality of win things as well makes invaluable.
It definitely is. 5 wins in a bounce for them after they that wee rocky spell, losing 3 in a row, beating BSC 5-1. Again, that's them they're keeping themselves in touching distance, really in a good position for promotion. I think you might be looking at the 3 of them are going to be your 3 going up.
Yeah.
St Peters have shown they're good enough to beat any of the teams on their day, but I touched on it quite a few times. They're a very young, inexperienced side at this level. That might cost them down the road, but they've got a lot of quality, and they beat Easterhouse 6-1. I know Easterhouse are really struggling, and hopefully they can get some bodies in. I seen they put a tweet out looking for some players, and I hope it's something that they can fix, because you wouldn't want to see them struggling too much, particularly in their first season.
No, 100%, mate. But for the top 3, mate, I think that the tailing thing will be the games against each other now. I think that they'll win the majority of the games against the other teams, but it's what they pick up when they start playing each other again. Do you know what I mean? And that'll be whoever comes out and top it out win the league.
I think you're right. Final one, Glenville 0, Harmony Row 0. 2 teams who are right down there. Poor season. Obviously, Harmony Row, we've touched it. We spoke about it at length earlier in the year about the issues they've got. I'm not sure really what's happening with them recently. Glenville, it's been a really poor season, but I don't really think Glenville are in the position financially or bringing in players that are a team that are going to be challenging anytime soon. Hopefully it's something that can change for them, because it's really not been a great year at all. But that's us, Dak. Round up back, that's us done. There won't be a roundup next week. Dak is going to be away having a good time abroad for a stag do, and I'm back shift next week, so I'll not be able to get it done. But it was nice being back.
Aye, good to be back for one night only, mate.
Fuck, shut up, man.
I'm telling you, mate.
Aye,
I'm a busy man.
aye, okay, no worries. Right, everybody, thank you
Right,
very
mate.
much for watching and listening, and I hope you have a good week and don't listen to that spanner.
Enjoy yourself, guys. Look after yourself.
See you later.